Your skill comes from 5 factors. You must insist on knowing your situation.
Oh my gosh, what the heck? Oh, information overload. Oh, where all these papers freaking come from? Oh, now I gotta clean this up. So there's the challenge, to find methods to make all that information overload go away. Pretty big challenge right there. We have to be able to find methods to make faster and better decisions about positions when it comes to competition. What we're dealing with is complex environments. There are literally thousands of kinds of factors that can affect our situation. And while we can't know all of them, just like the wind, we can feel their effect on us whenever things happen and we make decisions. So the real truth is that many bad decisions are actually unavoidable. We usually get into this concept of 20/20 hindsight, where it's like, oh, now that we look at everything, of course that was a bad decision. We should have known that. The thing is that we can't always have a 20/20 hindsight until it's already happened. The thing is that when we're in the moment, a lot of bad decisions are unavoidable. But we can learn by making those decisions. So in essence, we still have to make a decision, no matter how complex and how limited our ability to gather that information is. Seeing positions makes fast, easy comparisons, and few relative properties can tell us the relative advantages of different positions. This is much like yesterday's topic on the fact that there's many fundamental factors and patterns that we can find in complex systems. Understanding those actually was preparing us for today's lesson of being able to simplify complex systems. Now, there are 5 key strategic factors in a position. And those are the climate, ground, leaders, methods, and mission. And we'll talk about those in the following concepts. We have 2 bins in which we can sort alternatives that we have, either better or worse. 1.3.1, competitive comparisons. Competition is comparison. Many people think that the opposite of cooperation is competition. However, that's not true. In fact, cooperation is a competitive tool and part of competition itself. What the opposite of cooperation is actually conflict. Conflict is where people basically fight over opportunities or positions, and that just doesn't work. The thing is that comparisons are necessary for decision making. Whenever we have to make a decision, we're always making, like, what kind of cereal to buy. There's a bunch of different kinds of products. Which cereal do we end up buying? And the key to that is information. Information is the key to making better decisions. So the thing is while we all don't like to be judged, the fact is if we are a judge ourselves, we know, well, here's an example to start off with. When it comes to me and my YouTube channel, I'm growing it. I'm starting off humbly, I guess you could say. But I watch my videos and I study from them. I become a judge of my own work, so that way I can see what I want to see in the following videos to come. Of course, it does help when I get real people's perspectives on my work, rather than just my own. But in a sense, we have to know the criteria for judgment before we can be able to make ourselves in a better position. In a presidential race, a candidate needs to know what people are really, making their decisions on. What's really making them decide what president's better. And if they can understand that, then they can be able to position themselves to be the better candidate. Strategy can just like that be scaled, whether it's bigger and smaller. And that really adds to the complexity and confusion of understanding strategic positions and making comparisons. Because quite literally, you can have a group of people, or you can understand the position of just one. And that can get pretty confusing. So what we got to do is, again, simplify. What we're doing in strategy in order to make better comparisons is we're simplifying the complexity of the environment, the complexity of everything. We're simplifying it by understanding the key factors and the key patterns that are going on. By doing so, we're able to really, even though it's a simplified view of how things actually are, we can make better decisions because we understand better than the person we're being compared to. And of course, being better than your competition is what it's about. You're positioning yourself for being better compared. It's funny since we're talking about comparison. So, seeing the bigger picture of things is of course always valuable. But when it comes down to looking at the smaller scale of things, for example, when we're talking about the bigger picture, like bigger divisions, understanding a division or a group's position, That's usually always important. When it comes down to understanding individual positions is when we're trying to make decisions on that level. Whenever we're trying to make specific strategic decisions, or really focus on specific strategic problems, that's when we can scale things down to be able to make a decision on those levels. Really, the thing is that there's limitless details that we can always focus on, but we only have a limited amount of time and resources. So being able to simplify, of course, with the Sun Tzu's Warriors Rules, going to the article, you'll be able to understand exactly what Sun Tzu describes in these situations. But being able to do so will really help you understand the situation that's going on and be able to make quick and better decisions. So that's subsection 1.3, Elemental Analysis of the Warriors Rulebook. Hope you enjoyed it. And like always, go to www.scienceofstrategy.org to learn more about what competition is, about Sun Tzu himself, about the different translations and why Gary Gagliardi's version is very superior, or his versions are very superior to the others, as well as, well, there we go, comparing. As well as just find other useful things, for example, games, strategic games that you can buy, or PDF downloads of the articles and books. There's so many things on the site. And don't forget contribution points. By becoming a member and by making contributions like making blogs or checking spelling errors, you can get points, and instead of having to pay with actual money, you can pay with those contribution points, either entirely or in part. Going back to scaling. Entirely or in part with your order. So don't forget to check out the site, subscribe, like, comment, give me some feedback so that way I can make better decisions about the future videos that you'll watch. And like always, Sun Tzu's strategy is just a way for us to unlock our potential in life and be able to make sense out of this complicated world. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Mr. Balderdash signing out.